low-quality fans of a high-quality Bruins team. That is a dub. That's a dub. Oh, thank God. The team looked like a real team. Woo! Me and high-quality fiance are in a lodge outside of the Grand Canyon, which I hear is a pretty big hole in the ground, which I'm very excited about. I love my holes. We are earning our low quality. She's giving me a look. We're earning our low quality nickname through these videos, particularly the timing of them, because I was driving up here last night and I just didn't have it in me to make the video. Positives. We got positives. There's positives and negatives, but there are some positives. The biggest positive is that the Boston Bruins looked like an actual hockey team last night, which is huge. It was our best win of the season, of this very young season. Some changes were made that I think were positive and then completely reverted back by the coaching staff, because I think Monty might hate me. I really do. It's fine. We'll figure it out. But there's a couple things that I want to go over. Again, I don't have all my notes, so I can't do the game breakdown in a traditional way. Obviously, we're not able to do the skits as much, which is a bummer. We'll get back to it soon. I'm back late next week to the regular regime. But the lineups is where I want to start talking, because, at least to start the game, they made some changes. And the first one is on the defensive end, where we talked about these things last video. The defense focused on mobility. We started Lohrei McAvoy, which McAvoy had his worst game of the season so far, I think, but Lohrei might have attributed to that a little bit. But Lohrei and McAvoy is a pretty versatile pairing. They're mobile, but it does allow Lindholm to go down with Carlo, where Lindholm gets to be the mobile version, Carlo gets to be the more stout defenseman, and then Zadorov Peak, same thing. Zadorov, although he's a big beefy boy, does have more mobility than Peak does. We spread the love out with as far as speed and skating ability. And I think Swayman benefited from that. I think the team benefited from that. The power play got changed up for about 45 seconds, and we scored a goal off of it. We changed Marchand's role in the power play. We took him off the half wall, we put him down by the net front, and he facilitated from there, and it led to a goal. Of course, we went right back to having him on the half wall, and on the next power play, he turned the puck over 3 times to end his portion of that power play. So I'm not sure what Monty's seeing there after a successful run with him in a position that makes sense, and then immediately changed it back. This is reminding me of every coach we've ever had, where they just do stuff and it works, and they're like, okay, never mind, and they just move away from it. Love to see it. The forward lines. The traditional Zacha, Lindholm, Pasternak up front got caved at 5-on-5, but they did allow us some Patra on the wing in the top 6. If you remember, this is actually how I predicted the season would start, with Patra on the right side, Coyle in the middle, and then it'd be Marchand on the left. That line got a little over 2.5 minutes at 5-on-5, and then they went away from it. And yeah, those shifts weren't at the same level as some of the other shifts that we were seeing in the first period, but it was a brand new line, and I kind of would have liked to see that get some runway. Whatever, it's fine. They just refuse. I really do think Monty refuses to help himself with some of this stuff. So quick on the trigger to change things, and yet keeps going back to things that don't work. Such as our top line, which was the only line on 5-on-5 that was underwater when it came to expected goals percentage. They lost their battle all through the night. And yet, that one got to stick around for most of it. Pasternak did a bunch of double shifting, a variety of different lines he ended up on, but for the most part, that was the only really consistent 5-on-5 line that just got sunk. I don't know. The bottom 6 was great again, so there's that. The overarching themes of this game, there was effort. There's so much effort. The forechecking was there. The pressure at the net front was way better. You'll see from shot charts and things of that nature that they actually got to the front of the net, which has been a rarity this season. I feel like the neutral zone and the offensive pressure through a majority of this game had details. We've talked about details in the past, and this time around, they were forcing their way into the offensive zone. When they dumped the puck in, they were ready to chase. They had multiple bodies on the forecheck with correct timing in waves rather than just a bunch of jerseys chasing a puck. Improvement offensively. Defensively, once we got into the zone and they started moving the puck around us, I thought the details were decent. We've been way better in front of Swayman blocking shots and preventing these backdoor tap-ins, things of that nature. But the transition has been awful. And this is why I keep coming back to coaching. And a lot of you, I think, took my criticisms of Monty as in I want him fired. Or at least that's the way it seemed. Maybe I'm reading too much into that. I don't want Monty fired. I don't think we're going to fire a coach 10 games into a season after the past 2 years he's had, even though, yeah, there's obviously some concerns over the past 2 years outside of the regular season as well. But I do think a lot of these problems, you sit there and go, I don't know what the coach is thinking. The details through the transition defensively have been awful, and it led to 2 goals. One of them was the 4-on-4, where Marchand is in no man's land. He's sitting up at the high slot. Player works their way behind him, which was that Marner at that point? Maybe, no, Riley. It was Riley on that second goal. He just goes, oh, okay, you're going to stand at the high slot. It's 4-on-4. It's man coverage, dude. This isn't zone. There's too much space. So he just continues his way down toward the net. That's a free pass to him. Not much Swayman can do there. And that's a goal. And Marchand's the guy on that. Like, that's your dude. There's no debate. I hate when you sit there and be like, well, this guy should have, this guy. No, Marchand was standing in the middle of the slot, the only one not covering a player. Those are the details where you sit there and you're like, you're the captain. You have to be more aware than that. And what Marchand's trying to do is intercept a pass for a breakaway because Marchand's frustrated that his offense has been non-existent. And I think that's an accusation, but I don't feel like Sherlock making that one up. I think that's a pretty straight line of he's very frustrated, especially after the overtime goal, which was great. But when that went in, you could see it was more relief. He slams his stick down, deep sigh, like he just wants to be contributing. And he knows that he can contribute in a lot of ways. But so that goal, I mean, that's the kind of thing where you sit there and like, details, guys. We run 4-on-4 in practice. You know how this works. Pay attention to your man. Stop puck watching. And then on the tying goal at the end, which I know we're all very frustrated about. We talk about this team playing a full 60 minutes and actually focusing through full 60. McAvoy goes for a pinch to create a turnover at the top left point, leaving Matthews to just go to the net front. He loses that battle because he never should have gone for it, and then Matthews is alone in front. I mean, that's the kind of details where you sit there and go, what were you thinking? It's a minute and a half left of the game. You don't need to create that turnover. You need to make sure that everyone's covered properly. It's kind of a simple concept there. You're doing a wicked high-risk play where the reward is you kill 20 more seconds of the clock. I mean, great, but the negative side is a free goal or a free chance, a very high-danger chance. So the details are one of those things, especially transitional defense, that I feel like we're killing us right now. And Dallas took advantage fully of us as they moved through just waves through the zone. But on the positive side of things, the fourth line is still excellent. You just can't break them up. They've just been so good together. Beecher, Kostelik, and Koepke, they've been too good. You can't keep shifting them around. I know you want to reward them with more ice time as an individual. Just reward the line with more ice time at this point. They're that good. Just do it. Or just move them up to the third line. I don't know. I don't really care. Patra, I thought, looked pretty good. Then he got shifted around a bunch. But I do think that his game is in a good spot. Every time he's been on the ice, we have a higher chances for than chances against, pretty much. So I really wish they would find a home for this guy and let him be. I still, at this point, why not try Coyle on the wing? Like, Patra has been fine at center. Or at least let that Marchand, Coyle, Patra line run a little longer, see what they can do. A lot of the lines, though, just worked. Geeky, again, is a black hole. That's what it is. We're still taking too many penalties. The penalty kill looked better, at least. The power play, when you shifted personnel around, looked a little better. Marchand down at that net front, collects that puck, basically fakes, gets the whole defense to collapse because he's still considered a threat, and then he gets to shift it over to Pasta for the one-timer, which is finally freed up. because there's another threat on the ice in tight. When Marchand's on the half wall, he's turning it over all over the place. Make that adjustment permanent. Why is that a problem? Or even put him in a Lindholm bumper spot. That's fine too. But just take him off the half wall. I just don't know why that's not something that we can consistently do. Why that's not something they're seeing. But the power play, when those personnels get shifted, at least looked like it was making some sort of progress. The Bruins have to stop taking so many penalty kills, but the penalty kill did look better. They were closing up the gaps a bit better. There's still a long way to go with that too. I just think this team keeps flashing potential at me of hey, we could be this really good team. Not like cup contender status, but really, really high-end team. And it just keeps kind of falling on its face. So if they work through some of these issues, we can feel really good about it. We have the personnel. I don't know if we have the offensive personnel, honestly. And if the top line can't figure out how to win, a shift. Zacha, Lindholm, Pasternak, I don't know if they've come out of a game other than that Montreal game earlier in the season where they were better than their opponents. It's been that bad with them at 5-on-5. That being said, when you look at our 12 forwards, this team shouldn't rank 29th, right? Team shouldn't rank 30th. It should rank, 18th, 19th, 20th, in that back half kind of spot, middle, but kind of the back of the middle, and that'd be fine because our goaltending should rank top 10 by season's end. I truly believe that, and our defense should be excellent by the end of the season. If our offense isn't going to be the strong point of the team, which it hasn't been built that way at all, it's been built from the net out, then focus on the areas that you can really excel at and just get the offense above water, just barely. And that's how we'll win games. Is it the most exciting hockey out there? No. Is it a bit Islanders-esque? Unfortunately, yes. But it is an effective way to win hockey games. I just worry that they're going to keep sticking with things they know doesn't work. And every time they find something that had a positive pop, they go, oh, cool. Let's see if they can build momentum off that by shifting back to the things that we know don't work. I think that's the most frustrating part of all this. This is a game that they can build momentum off of. We should all feel good about the Bruins, at least today. It's the day after a win. That's kind of how it works, right? We live and die by every game. Negatives and positives. I think that's pretty much all I have to say about that game. Tiffany, do you have anything to add?
Hi.
She adds hi. Go Bees. Go Bees!